Yeah, so our film is called The Crusader, which you just saw. It's basically about some man who believes he's some comic book superhero who thinks he's Batman, so it's kind of crazy. And yeah, the film, like, if you notice, it's like made in like a documentary style, so it's quite unusual to most short films that you see.
This is the crew of the film. The director is was Gerard Manico or something, and he's done loads of other stuff. Like he's been in the EastEnders, The Bill, Hobby City, Ashes2, stuff like that. So it's reasonably big short film.
The film, it doesn't really follow any specific narrative structure. Like, there's not really a sense of like equilibrium at the beginning. Like, you get this crazy guy in a bat costume, like that's kind of a disruption. Like, why is this guy dressed up in a bat costume? And yeah, there's no real equilibrium at the end as well, because you still question what's wrong with this guy. Like, why does he think he's Batman and stuff? So it doesn't really follow any specific narrative structure, and it's quite hard to tell that since it's just an interview basically. It's not really like other short films you've seen. It's just a documentary stuff.
Representation. The main character is like, as well as being represented as this freak, he's like he's also represented as like a classic like East End Cockney guy. Like he's always smoking all the time. He's drinking cups of tea. He's like I think they contrast it as well. Like they show how, like, as well as him being this Batman nerd weirdo guy, he's still like just a normal guy. Like at the beginning, you see all those images of like the flat, just takeouts, stuff that normal people buy. So it's just like kind of like linking the two. And the reporter is just like supposed to be like the normal figure in the film compared to this guy who's just the comedy act, and she's like just the person delivering it almost.
The camera work in there is like uses some extreme close-ups to show that guy who's dressed as Batman, like to show how stupid he looks like reaction shots when the interviewer says something to make him look weird. It's like, oh, because it's like interview style, like there's not like much emphasis on camera work, since it's kind of like a handheld camera thing, so there's not that much on it. But at the beginning, like when it's showing like I don't know if you saw at the beginning when it showed like those overpaid bills, I showed some extreme close-ups on there to show like this guy is just unorganized guy.
Yeah, it's like another guy living in East London just having normal problems, but then it's this guy.
And they use some long shots as well to capture like the setting, like to show his flat that he's quite like broke or something like that. So it like adds to this guy has no life.
And they do loads of close-ups of his actual face, just because it's so funny. Where if you compare it to the actual Batman, you look at like his eyes are perfectly in shape, and then you've got this guy, and it's just the face is funny. So they do loads of close-up because half of the time one of his eyes like doesn't fit in the thing properly, so it's like his eye all weird. So that just creates humour. Mise en scène. Obviously the flat is untidy, as you can see, like when he's walking around and doing all this stuff. It's just showing he's just like a normal guy. It's untidy flat, game controllers, things that normal people have. So it's just, he looks like a normal guy, and he's always drinking tea and he's smoking. So it's just, yeah. The mise en scène kind of tries to represent him as the normal guy. He tries to bring him away from all this weird Batman stuff, just showing like he's just living.
Yeah, the editing. There's a number of straight cuts used with the editing. Like at the beginning, we're showing all those little clues in his flats, like the overkill bills and the picture of like some wedding or something like that. Like cross cuts he used like to show what he does during his life. Like it shows him in his flat, and then it shows like randomly in a car. So it kind of just shows how it kind of makes it look even more weird and like creates more humour since you see what he just basically does in his spare time. And like there's a black and white effect used for the entire thing, which like creates this kind of noir style when it's kind of in contrast with Batman, since he's dressed in black. He's black and white.
The binary opposites, you got the male versus the female, so the reporter versus him, because she's just kind of questioning him loads and breaking him down. You got insanity versus sanity. He's sane because he's like a normal guy, but then at the same time he thinks he's Batman. So he's kind of insane. And then there's real world versus imaginary, where it's like it's linking Batman with life. Like, it's not real. So it's a bit weird. Yeah, so
Don't go.
Anyone got any questions?
Questions?
What did I say about questions?
Questions, anyone?
Is it anyone?
Who's got any questions? 5.
Why did you choose that film?
Because it's different, like, even though it's a comedy, which is different, it's like in some weird documentary style, so it's like...
It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yes.
Why is it effective though? Why do you think this particular film is effective?
Because the people that watch it are people like us, and we can connect to this guy, we can relate to this guy, because again, like, he seems like a normal guy, but then again, he's dressed as Batman, so it just makes it funny.
Can you think of any other documentaries that you might have watched that you know, when you watch this, to me this seems so familiar. I've never seen this film before, but I've seen so many different documentaries, because it follows the typical features, doesn't it? Can you think of any features that they use?
They use like the audio, they keep the audio of the interview whilst there's other images on the screen to kind of...
And at the end they like show that thing, like saying what happened after, and it says like something about how he lied about
Yeah, I mean, so just a quick thing, that clip they showed, you know, while he's standing up in the balcony, do you remember where they were speaking? And it's just got a clip of him standing there. Why do you think they chose that particular clip of him, you know, on the balcony of his flat at that particular moment? Can you remember the clip?
Were he smoking?
Yeah, I think he was smoking.
Yeah, just again to show like the documentary, like it's a documentary about him. So it's just showing bits of his life.
But what is it making us feel though, as an audience? How are we made to feel about him in particular?
Sorry for him maybe, because it looks kind of ridiculous what he's doing.
Yeah,
Anyone feel sorry for him?
He looks a bit sad, he's just on his balcony.
I'm laughing at him. I think he's absolutely pathetic. I think that's sharp. I think you've got to think about the use of camera work here.
And whilst it's the long shot of him in his flat on the roof smoking and drinking, there's the voiceover of him still talking as if he is Batman.
Yes.
So that's what makes it even more funny. Because you're just like, why? Why is he doing this?
Yeah. Sorry, can you keep the slides up? Faye, why are we walking around?
She was getting that video. She was loads of their video.
I've already got it minimised. It's already minimised, it's already sorted.
Oh no, it's only because my thing's off of my email, so I was going to get it answered.
Right, sorry, I'll do this. Actually, take some more questions, please.
Why do you think it was filmed in black and white? Well, the reason why I think it was filmed in black and white, that's a good question. Well, I thought it was because, like, well, this is why I think, it's to do with,
Can't we just get, isn't it?
yeah, Batman. Like, I thought it was in contrast with his black costume and his black and white hair. But the truth is, I don't know, man. What do you think?
I think it was in black and white to kind of like try and make it more serious. Like, it's a documentary, they want to make it look serious, and the way they try to make it, the seriousness of the program makes it funny, because it's not serious, but they try to make it look serious by having all the woman voiceovers and the man voiceovers and the text and all the black and white and all these things. Try to make it look serious.
I think it's funny because they do like that sort of style interview and something like with the voiceover and stuff. When you're talking about something serious, like the guy, the tree body or something. They know how to have them documentaries. I think it's funny because the presenters and they're acting like it's just a normal thing, and then when they hit the quote, there's something like find out this is a lie. I think so funny.
Who's that? The main documentary maker, Amal. Oh God, what's his name? It's on TV. It's a famous documentary.
Louis.
That's it. It reminds me of that sort of thing where he. Have you seen any of those programs where he goes to interview random weird people all
And
around?
he always, they do a trick of his like, Louis Theroux always asks, he asks questions to kind of trip people up.
Yeah.
And like call them out and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why she asked that question at the end. She was like, they ripped Batman before you were born. He just can't answer it, so he just sends them out. That's funny.
Good.
Like,
Are there comments or questions from Linda?
just one comment. I think the reason the film's kind of famous is like Batman's like a really serious character, and then you just have this guy who nobody really takes serious. And then like if somebody's think of Batman, you kind of think like be afraid like, oh, it's Batman. And there's somebody who's seeing the kind of thing kind of like a joke. So it kind of makes it like the comedy feel a bit more effective. Because especially the way he's dressed and everything.
Yes.
It makes it effective.
Yeah. I mean, what I liked, there was a slide there where you had lots of close-ups and you made a reference to a close-up they use and an actual close-up from the actual film. Did you notice, where he's getting dressed at the end, had all those shots? Do you remember that sequence in the Batman film? Do you remember those sequences? Actually?
I don't know if I remember the sequence, but I know he starts stealing lines from it's like kind of like a parody of Batman, when he's going to night parents all do. It's like doing close-ups of it, putting his costume.
That's exactly, they're copying the exact sequence that's used in the Batman film, which is called intertextuality. Okay, intertextuality, where you're making references to other films, okay, within your own film. Yeah. Are there any comments about actually how they delivered the content, the information, everything? Yes.
There's a comment about the actual presentation.
Okay, yes, that's what I like. Yeah.
The actual slides. I think you actually done the presentation well. It's a lot clearly. And I like the colour things you got, because black and white, black and yellow, actually goes with black.
Very good. Junaid?
I thought you were quite confident in the presentation that actually was looking at notes most of it. So it's good that you knew you were talking about it, didn't go up there and sort of say anything. So it was quite good that they wanted to just do the shooting stuff.
Good. What about body language though?
Yeah, Ashley's kind of sat back on the.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
Kind of nervous.
Might be nervous a little bit. I mean, yeah, you've got to think about how you stand. I know that, it's just us lot, so you're a bit more relaxed, but I think you were leaning on the table. You're like, yeah, I'm Oliver. Yeah? Okay, and in your introduction as well. Was there an introduction Farhad? Can I just ask that question first before we move on to something else? Did they introduce the film themselves or anything?
No.
What did they do?
That was an actual mishappening.
Just jumped into it.
Slide.
You've got to think about how you actually start the presentation.
I was meant to start after slide 3, where it talks about the actual film. I forgot.
Okay, you've got to remember that, beginnings. Farhad, what would you like to say?
I don't know if this has been said, but I think the word light that was used too much.
Yeah, the word light. I've got something like that, which is a quote from Ashley. Okay, so you said something really good, and then you said something like that at the end. Okay, again, it goes back to what did we have yesterday?
Whatever stuff.
Whatever stuff. Thank you. Okay, Olivia.
I think the quality of the information is really good, and you really done your research on every key concept area, media language area. But I think a bit too much repetition was used. Just it did make sense, but when you're talking about his flat and the bills and stuff, it was said 3-4 times, and it's just maybe you should have found something more.
Or say it in a different way, or add a new point, because I feel that there were some fantastic points that you're making, but I was sad to not hear the words working class. I was sad not to hear the words. Did we look at sound? I can't remember if we looked at sound. The use of language. You mentioned that documentary interviewers they phrase things in a particular way. Her voice was very interesting, wasn't it? Actually, the fact they chose that woman to interview, because she is her voice is the voice that we usually expect to hear. It's very sort of well spoken, very to the point, very sort of. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
One more point, and we're going to move on. Hayley?
If there's some time at the end and we don't have time to watch Batman, watch that again.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other hand? Anything else to add? Or Kia? I would like you to say something. Sorry, we didn't read off the sheets. Good. What I noticed though is that you haven't written anything on your sheet. You haven't written anything on your sheet. Do you want anyone else write that handout that I gave to them? Right, I wonder why, not many people did that. Apart from Farhad, did you do it?
Yeah.
Right, how come only you two, I think, wrote on that handout? I wonder why. Anyone wants to give me a reason why? How did anyone wrote on that handout?
Because they kind of told us, like, we didn't have that much time to actually write stuff.
Yes.
Went into it and explained it.
Right, first of all, he said, here's a handout. And then I was like, okay, should we write this then? And then you said, then you asked us questions about the handout. So it's again it's a bit like a teacher thing. That's a really good thing you gave to us, fantastic. But I don't know if you've been in a lesson where you've not even sure about the instructions, where it's been, here you go, here's a handout, I'm going to talk about it anyway. And then you actually, you leave the lesson and you've got this blank handout and you probably stuffed that at the back of your bag because it was never actually used. Does that make sense? I hope that teacher reflected on the fact that they wasted their time making a handout that was never actually used.
And trees.
Okay? Sorry?
And trees.
And
Trees.
and wasting trees, thank you. Okay? So another point as well. When you use handouts, use them or don't use them.